Okay, hi. Previously we already learned regarding bond and also preferred stock. Okay, so now we continue to common stock. Okay, common stock is one type of market equity where the common shareholder is the owner of the company. Okay, the shareholders of the common stock is actually the owner of the company. Common stock has no maturity date and will exist as long as company exists because it is owned by the shareholders of the organization. Okay, the company has no right to the payment of dividend and it is up to BOD. What is BOD? Board of Director. And if bankrupt, common shareholders are the last to get the claim on the asset. So who will get the claim on the asset first? Basically the preferred stock shareholders. Okay, characteristic of common stock. First one is claims on earning, where after the bond interest and preferred stock dividends are paid to holders. Selepas bonds and also preferred stock dividend are paid to holders, then come to the common stock punya right lah as the owner, where common shareholders have the right to the income balance after payment of dividend to the bond and also preferred stock, then baru common stock. It can be paid out as a dividend or kept as a return earning. So dividend tu kita boleh bayar to the common stock shareholders as a dividend or just retain it as the return earning, which will become the equity of the firm lah. Okay, claim on asset. So in the event of liquidation, the claim by preferred shareholders and other creditors take priority over common shareholders claim. Meaning to say that claim on asset, lepas preferred shareholders and other creditors dapat apa yang diorang claim, then baru common shareholders of the common stock will get the claim. So the priority is not on the shareholders of the common stock. And then voting right. Voting right is where common shareholder with voting right have to select the board of director. So it's supposedly the common shareholder is the owner of the company. That's why they have the right to select the board of director. Next, limited liability. Common shareholder liability is limited to the amount of their investment only. Limit pada investment yang diorang invest sahaja in the event of bankruptcy. Okay, and then preemptive right. It is the right of shareholders to maintain a proportionate share of ownership in the firm. Preemptive right means to say that the shareholder have to maintain the certain shares of ownership in the firm. And if common shares are issued, the common shareholder have the right to reject or buy them. Kalau dalam firm tu sendiri dia issue lagi common shares, so the existing common shareholder have the right whether they want to buy or they want to reject the offer, the common stock offered to them. And advantage and disadvantage of common stock. Advantage dia apa? No maturity date. So in the event of the bankruptcy, if no dividend paid to them, so dia tak ada risiko lah, kurang risiko lah. And then strengthen company financial standing and increase borrowing capacity. So this is the advantage of common stock. Dia kuatkan financial standing, increase the equity of the common shareholders. And the firm does not necessarily issue dividend to common shareholder. Tak semestinya dapat balik dividend. As such, the firm does not need the high cash flow out during downturns. Sebab tu dia tak perlukan very high cash flow during downturns or economic downturns. But this advantage of the common stock, okay, dividends are taxed. dividend yang paid out to the common shareholders is being taxed to the being taxed from the by the IRB, Inland Revenue Board, and the cost of floating common stock is higher than the debt. Issuance of new common share can affect the change in ownership and control over the firm. Meaning to say that if the firm issue new common share, let's say the shareholder A, actually dia punya pegangan tu 50%. Oh, so bila issue new common share to new shareholders of B, dia pun dapat sebelum tu 40% aja dia pegang. Tapi bila dah issue new common stock, so dia sama dengan pegangan dia sama dengan common shareholder. So it can also control the common shareholder B can also control the firm because he or she has 50% control, 50% shares. That is a disadvantage of common stock. Okay, and then dividend policy. What is dividend policy? The term dividend refer to the portion or profit after tax or part of the net earning of corporation which is distributed among the owner or shareholder of the firm. So dividend may be defined as the return that a shareholders get from the company. Okay, itu maksud dividend. Dividend is the return where the shareholder gets from the company out of its profit on his shareholding. Selepas profit, then after tax. And then dividend is also a payment or reward made to the equity shareholder for their investment in the company. Dia dapat dividend after make investment. It is a basic right of equity shareholder to receive dividend from earning of a company. Tu dah tahu maksud dividend. Next, dividend policy. Apa maksud dividend policy? It means that the practice or guideline that management follow in making dividend payout decision. Guideline macam mana management have to follow the guideline in making decision to pay the dividend. Okay, in other words, the size and pattern of cash distribution over time to shareholders. Dividend policy determine the ultimate distributions of the firm earning between retention or investment and cash dividend payout of shareholders. The larger the return earning, the lesser the dividend, and the smaller the return earning, the larger the dividend. Itu dia punya rules dia lah. Kurang return earning, higher dividend. Higher dividend, less return earning. Okay, type of dividend policy. We have cash dividend, bonus shares, interim dividend, special dividend or extra dividend, regular cash dividend, scrip dividend, liquidating dividend, and also property dividend. Okay, so basically, cash dividend is company mostly pay dividend in cash. So company should have enough cash in its bank account when cash dividends are declared. If it does not have enough bank balance, arrangement should be made to borrow the fund. When the company follows stable dividend policy, it should prepare a cash budget for the coming period to indicate necessary fund which would be needed to meet the regular dividend payment of the company. Okay? So basically, company pay dividend in terms of cash. Okay, bonus share. Bonus share is the issue of bonus share is the distribution of share. Distribution of share free of cost to existing shareholder. So bonus share issue in addition to the cash dividend. Biasanya dia akan bagi cash dividend and also bonus share, and not in lieu of cash dividend. So company may supplement the cash dividend by bonus issue. Issuing bonus share increase the number of outstanding share of the company. The bonus share are distributed proportionally to the existing shareholder. Thus, there is no dilutions of ownership. Tak ada kurang lah. Okay, interim dividend. Interim dividend is a dividend payment made before a company annual general meeting and final financial statement. So this declared dividend usually accompany the company interim financial statement. It usual for dividend payment to occur quarterly in the US and semi-annually in UK. So the interim dividend is generally the smaller of the two payments made to the shareholders. The most common pattern applied by company is to distribute an interim dividend at the end of the first quarter or half, and then the final dividend at the financial year end. Itu maksud interim dividend. Special dividend is a non-repeated distribution of company asset, usually in the form of cash to shareholder. So a special dividend is larger compared to normal dividend paid out by the company. Sebab tu dia special. And then regular cash dividend. Regular cash dividend is a payment made by a company out of its earning to investor in the form of cash. So this transfer economic value from company to shareholder instead of company using the money for operation or reinvestment lah. Okay, and then scrip dividend. Scrip dividend are promised to make the payment of dividend at future date. Dia janji nak bayar. Instead of paying the dividend now, the firm elects to pay it at some later date. To scrip dividend, dia bayar in later date. Okay, liquidating dividend. If a company is claiming bankruptcy or discontinuing business operation, company will issue this type of payment lah, liquidating dividend to shareholders. So payment are based on how many shares a shareholder has in the company. Berapa banyak shares shareholder dalam company, so dia akan bayar guna liquidating dividend in the event of the bankruptcy. And property dividend can either include shares of subsidiary company or physical asset such as inventory that company hold. The dividend is recorded at the market value of the asset. So this type of payout is less common than the regular stock or cash dividend system. So ada berapa jenis dividend policy? Ada 8. Okay, determinants of dividend policy. Kita nak tentukan dividend policy based on type of industry. Meaning to say that industry that are characterized by stability of earning may formulate consistent policy. And then age of corporation. Age of corporation where new established enterprise would require most of their earning for plant improvement and expansion, while old established company which have attained a longer earning experience can formulate clear dividend policy. And then extent of share distribution. Berapa banyak dia buat share distribution. Need for additional capital, the extent to which the profit would be reinvested back into the business has influence on the dividend policy. Business cycle, where during economic expansion, financial manager would create good financial reserve for facing crisis and an inflation period. And then change in government policy. Sometimes the government limit the rate of dividend declared by company in particular industry. So the government put temporary restriction on payment of dividend by company. Trends of profit. The past trend of company profit should be examined to find out the average earning position of the company. Maksud dia lah. Taxation policy. Taxation policy of the government also affect the dividend decision of firm. A high or low rate of business taxation affect the net earning of a company, thereby its dividend policy. Advantage and disadvantage of long-term financing. Advantage antaranya that is the least costly. Disadvantage, interest on debt is permanent but burden to the company. And then it provides sufficient flexibility, but disadvantage that has a fixed maturity date. Therefore, the financial officer must make provision for repayment of the debt. So the rest you can read by yourself. The advantage and disadvantage of long-term financing. Okay, that's all for this topic. Thank you.